Hello everybody, this is Francium StarCraft. Today I'll be casting a 1v1 pro game. This is liquidret spawning on the left hand side as Zerg against the blue Protoss, invasorprime spawning on the right hand side as Protoss. So this is a pro game. This is Prime against Liquid. Both of these players are really strong. They've won a lot of tournaments, the Korean players, and Korean players are most likely to go for a macro intensive game. So we'll be able to see a intense macro intensive game. Sorry. So it looks like he's getting his Overlord, fairly standard. And it looks like the blue Protoss is just scouting with his scouting pylon probe, chucking down the pylon at 9, still fairly standard. Checking for any overlords with this probe, because the last thing you want is to scout on this side, and then your opponent is on the other side. So if there's any rushes that your opponent is doing and you're lacking the scouting time to scout it out, you may be in a serious danger, I guess. Okay, so he's not going for a fast push, but going for a quick hatchery at 15 hatch. It's not the quick hatchery, since most Zerg nowadays does this a lot already. So 15 hatchery is fairly standard for any Zerg players these days. Usually when you're scouting and you see a hatchery not being chucked down, but a spawning pool chucked down before a hatchery, it is possible that the Zerg player will want to go for a quick rush, Zergling rush or Speedling rush, or even Roach rush. And the blue Protoss player looks like he's getting doing a fairly standard build. Gateway, pylon, gateway, pylon, and then cybernetics core. Continue to pump probes to get his economy going. As a Zerg player, you never want to go one base against Terran or Protoss player, because it will just put you at a disadvantage, because you won't have the enough lava to support your army, and you won't have enough minerals, or you can say supplies, to support your army. Just chucking down a spine crawler here to help prevent any type of rushes. It's chrono boosting out his first zealot, stalker, and making the warp gates research still fairly standard. I'm curious to see that he's got near 500 minerals and he's not chucking down his second gateway. I wonder what he's gonna do. This might be an interesting game. Oh, he's chucking down his fast expansion, I guess. Now once the Zerg scouts this, he wants to expand as well, because you do not want to fight against a 2-base Protoss while you're at 2-base as well. It'll put the Zerg player at a disadvantage, and yeah, you'll just lose the game eventually. Okay, looks like he's making his third queen to help spread the creep. Continue to make drones. As a Zerg, it's very different than Protoss and Terran plays, because Protoss and Terran plays, they can make workers while they make the attacking units. Whereas Zerg, you need to know when you want to make drones and when you want to make attacking units, because your lava, you can't split them up and do different things. You just won't have enough for what you want to do. Let's check out the APM. As expected, the the APMs are fairly high. Saw Prime is on 150 average APM, and liquidret is on 141 average APM. So that is expected from a pro gamers like them. Oh, interestingly, he's getting Burrow, and he's getting a Roach Warren. I'll be interested to see that, to see if he will go for some Burrow Micro. That will be very effective because roaches generate 15 health per second while they're underground, which allows them to be much more beefy, you can say, in a battle. He's doing a great job spreading his creep. There's 3 creep tumors here, this creep queen, and this other creep down here. If you notice this overlord here, you can see that it's a scouting sacrificial overlord to see what his enemy is going, and Saw Prime is going for a 2-gate starport. Yep, 2-gate starport. He's making more gateways, but 2-gate starport to make out those quick void rays, and what else is making phoenixes. I'm interested to see that what type of army composition he wants to get with these buildings here. So it's getting 1, 2, 3, 4 gateways and 1 starport. So probably some gateway units supported by void rays and phoenixes. Oh, that is very nice. Graviton beamed the queen so he could not attack, and finish it off with the void ray. Scouting with the phoenix, try to do some damage. I'm trying to follow these phoenixes here. Oh, he just scouted his 3rd expansion. This is gonna be really bad, because now the Protoss will know that he's got a 3rd expansion, and it's not up and saturated yet. So, and he scouted his army composition, which does not have much, which allow him to put up some pressure and do a little push if he wants to. It's possible that this is another sacrificial overlord. However, it's being seen by the void ray and the phoenixes, so it has to return to base. However, this overlord is scouting for any 3rd expansion, because as I said, you do not want to have to be on the same amount of expo as your opponent. Okay, now it looks like the Protoss is going for his 3rd expo as well. He does not want to stay on the 1 base below the Zerg player, because it'll make them even. So if he has the advantage right now, so why not keep the advantage? You know, just track down the 3rd hatchery while 3rd nexus, while your opponent is setting up his 3rd hatchery, which is not really set up. It's already up, since the saturation here is pretty good. Let's look at the drone count of each players. Oh wow, the red Zerg player has 80 drones, and the blue Protoss player has 55 probes, which I think it puts the Zerg player in an advantage by heaps. Oh, there's some Dark Templars. Notice how he split his Dark Templars to the main and the Expo. I wonder if he has one here. Yep, he does. So this might be able to put him back into the advantage that he had, because he just set up a 4th Expo here and it's got taken out by the Dark Templar. So now it's making them even, which is making the Protoss player, giving the Protoss player an advantage. Ooh, some Blink Micro. On my next game that I'll be casting a 3v3 game of me, Cesium, and another one of my friend who played in a 3v3 league game, which I'll be showing you some more Stalker micro, I guess. So now he's just got Dark Templars everywhere. However, all these creep spreads helping him see most of the map. You can say around 50% of the map, which helps a lot. As Husky said, all these creeps is pretty much a map hack. You can see almost all of the map wherever you have creep. And for example, he has his stalkers here. The Zerg can just see it because of all these creep and this Selnaga tower. As one of my friends said before, the view that you have on a StarCraft 2 game is your third resource. So the more view you want to have over the map, the better, because you'll know what's on the map, where they are, and how to counter it. So you can build your build according to what your enemy has. Man, this is a lot of Corruptors. I'm curious to see if he's gonna turn them into Brute Lords, because the Protoss player doesn't have that much air units, and he doesn't have any Colossus. Wow, there's just harassments all over the map. I think these Blink Stalkers has really paid for themselves. They took out this hatchery, they took out some drones, and they harassed a bit, which really set the Zerg player back by a lot. And it's possible that they are able to take out these roaches because they have one extra range than what the roach has. Actually, 2 extra range. Stalkers have a range of 6 and roaches have a range of 4. I don't get why he didn't turn around and... oh yeah, sorry. He's trying to reinforce the army down below here. There's just battles all around the map. It's really kind of intense to see these kind of high level macro games turned out to be such a micro intensive game due to all these Blink Stalkers. I'm really admiring the Zerg's macro play right now. He's just having army pumping out constantly, which, yep, that's it, there it is. There's the Great Aspire, which allows the Zerg player to morph in Brute Lords, which can be really effective against these blinking Stalkers, because no matter where they go, those quickly little Broodlings will chase them down. And they don't really cost anything, really. They're just the babies of the Brood Lords. They just chuck them around. They're the world worst father, you can say. Because they just chuck the babies around, and yeah. That is a lot of Corruptors. Right now, I can't say which race has the advantage right now, because they're both on 4 base. Yeah, by looking at that, you can say that the Protoss is at advantage, but the Zerg players just has so much army. It's like he has army everywhere. He's holding out pushes, he's holding out harassers. It's just really interesting to see how he's holding all of these off by working on the same amount of base that the Protoss has. And please note that the third expansion is not even saturated, and yet he can still hold off all these rushes really quickly and effectively. I think the only reason is because the Protoss player has only one type of unit, which is Blink Stalkers, whereas the Zerg player has Zerglings, Corruptors, Roaches, and soon he'll have Brood Lords, and he has Hydras, and yeah, it's just a really good combination against Protoss overall. Oh, he did not want to engage there. He lost a lot of Zerglings in that battle. This is taking a lot of strain on my graphics card. As you can see, that lagged a bit before.